2, 3.
Kate Mila Falls, you're very welcome along to the Brian and Kieran Warfield podcast, the ramblings of two Irish balladeers, featuring Brian Warfield of the fierce and mighty Wolfetones and his son Kieran, that's me, of the band Catalpa, and also of the Bandwagon Bus, Dublin's only musical ballad tour on wheels. So sit back, relax, grab a tea, coffee, beer or wine or whatever takes your fancy as we go rambling through life's misty foggy dew, through stories, songs, history, politics, life on the road, and just a general bit of crack.
Was on Good Friday morning, all in the month of May, a German ship was signaling beyond out in the bay. We've 20,000 rifles all ready for to land, but no answering signal did come from the lonely Banna Strand. No signal answers from the shore, so Roger sadly said, no comrades here to meet me. Alas, they must be dead, but I must do my duty, and at once I mean to land. So in a small boat pulled ashore on the lonely Banna Strand. Now the RIC were hunting for Sir Roger high and low. They found him at McKenna's fort. Said they, you are our foe. Said he, I'm Roger Casement. I came to my native land. I mean to free my countrymen on the lonely Banna Strand. They took Sir Roger prisoner and sailed for London town, and in the tower they laid him, a traitor to the crown. Said he, I am no traitor, but his trial he had to stand for bringing German rifles to the lonely Banna Strand. Was in an English prison that they laid him to his death. I'm dying for my country, he said with his last breath. They buried him in British soil, far from his native land, and the wild waves sing his requiem on the lonely Banna Strand. They took Sir Roger home again in the year of 65, and with his comrades of 16 in peace and tranquil life, his last fond wish it is fulfilled, for to lie in his native land, and the waves will roll in peace again on the lonely Banna
And there we have track number 5 off the Wolfetones album Up the Rebel from 1966. And we're back after 2 weeks of abstinence of alcohol and talking shite to each other.
Yeah. And, we had some emails from people wondering if we're going to come back with more podcasts. But I guess, some people are enjoying it. I hope you are. And pass the message around. We keep going as long as you want it.
Well, we keep going as long as the fridge got beer in it. Anyway, it's good to be back. And are we allowed to say you were 2 weeks away in Spain?
What?
Are we allowed to say you were 2 weeks away in Spain?
No, we're not allowed to say I was in Spain. No.
All right. Okay. You got a great colour for Ireland, although has been warm. So
it's been fantastic here. I just had to go. I did no choice.
Dad, you don't have to make excuses.
Yeah, no, I don't have to.
No.
But fully vaccinated, tested, and everything else, and minding my own business. Minding my own business. Went near nobody. So that's Ed outside most of the time. So. Kept everybody safe, including myself.
That's it. And you were in an apartment, so it wasn't like you were...
No.
Or whatever you were in. So Banna Strand, a beautiful song and a beautiful place, a beautiful part of Ireland. I take it this is one of the songs you would have picked up down in Kerry, was it?
No, it has a great story to it. In fact, we back in the early days, our new manager then, Cordy Johnson, started running shows in the Montrose Hotel. And this is going back to 1964. And the shows were going on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And because we weren't really a big name, we used to bring in names like Peg and Bob Clancy, or Peg and Bobby Clancy. We used to bring in names like Sean O'Shea. And Sean O'Shea was huge at the time because he just had a number one hit with Puck Air Willa. Mm-hmm. If anybody remembers that song, it was a huge hit, and everybody it was on everybody's tongue. Puck, a lot of people said, "I'll puck and kill you," but it took on in a huge way with the Irish public, and so Sean O'Shea became a regular feature on our shows there in the Montrose, and. Then we went down and he featured in some of our concerts as we went down to Cork, and we became kind of a you might say, a kind of a show together, Sean O'Shea and the Wolfetones and all that kind of thing. So he had a great name, and we were only beginning, and then everything else. We were making a name. We had LPs out and everything else like that, but. He had this great song called Banna Strand. It's not the only song we got off him, but we got this song off and he sang it. And when he sang it, my God, he could make the rafters ring because he had an enormous voice, a fabulous voice. And he sang Banna Strand on numerous occasions at the shows. So eventually we asked him for the song, but he had a verse in it that kind of brought it up to date. And we took Sir Roger home again the year of 65. And with us, I can't remember, with his comrades of 16 in peace and tranquilize. His last fond wish it is fulfilled, to lie in his native home. And the waves will roll in peace again on the lonely Banna Strand. So that verse kind of brought it up to date. And as far as I remember, he had no problem passing on the song to us, or didn't want any kind of recognition for it or anything else like that. A total gentleman and total generous man. He was a school teacher in Cork, and he was also a great friend of Sean O'Reilly's. And he, as you well know, he sang a lot of the stuff with Sean O'Reilly on his albums, on his concerts in the Gaiety and things like that. He was a tenor, had a tenor's voice, and that would really, if you stood beside him, you'd know all about it. He a wonderful tenor voice. Became a great friend of ours over the years. We lost track as the Wolfetones progressed in their popularity around the world, and we start touring the world. I think Sean stayed in Ireland, and he stayed on as a school teacher, devoting his life to teaching and educating our young folks all around Cork. A great language speaker and loved the Irish language. He not alone gave us Banna Strand, but another song we took from Sean was Tom and Arrears and Arrears. August Tom and Arrears and Arrears.
That's off the Oscailga.
Yeah.
I know.
Tom and Arrears and T Noel.
That's a great song.
Tom and Arrears and Arrears. August Berkeless the dia is a Creole. And thanks for the shite I'm drinking. God, it's God, not shite. Yeah. But it's some great works. He sang a great version of Roisin Du, and I think one of the great artists of Ireland that never really got the recognition for what he gave to Ireland and what he brought to Ireland, both song, music, language and culture. What a great guy. And still around, of course.
Is he?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I've never heard him.
Yeah,
honestly, I've never heard him.
He's still around, and I saw him on TV there quite lately, and he looked tremendously well. Like us all, he didn't stay the young guy he was back then.
Yeah, sure he does.
But nobody does. But he looked hale and hearty, and it was great to see him again.
And did you ever try and make contact? No, never.
No, my life is very busy, as you know, and you just can't keep in touch with everybody that you touch during your lifetime and during their career growing.
But all the times you played down in Cork, you never crossed paths, no?
Well, he was a busy man too, so I mean, busy people don't get a chance to cross one another's paths. It's only by chance meetings a lot of the times that people see one another again, or a funeral or a wake or a special concert or a special festival, and that's how you meet people again.
And Banna Strand itself as a song, of course, is about Roger Casement, and Roger Casement was a great humanitarian, and
he was knighted by the British Crown for his work in both Africa and in South America,
in Peru.
Yeah,
he I think it was in the Congo, was it, that he lost faith in imperialism and decided that's when he sort of.
Not alone that. I mean, he fought for the underprivileged people in Africa and South America, and then when he saw that the Irish were, his own people, were in an underprivileged position as well. When he took that fight up, and he did take that fight up more very sincerely indeed. When he took that fight up, he put his heart and soul to it, and his life. His life was on the line, and as we know, he was hung in Pentonville prison in August of 1916. He was the last of the leaders of 1916 to be executed. He wasn't executed by firing squad, which is a soldier's death. Yeah. He was executed by hanging, which was a traitor's death. Yeah. And they regarded him as a traitor after giving him the great accolade he did for helping other people. They hung him for trying to help his own.
And he was only 51.
Well, yeah, when you look at photographs of our images of the people from back then, I mean, Padraig Pearse, all those people looked really old, and they weren't. They were all very young. But now that I've grown old, they look young.
They didn't have filters in the cameras in them days.
But they couldn't. But when you look at them, the beard and all of Roger Casement is, a handsome man. There's no doubt about that. Because it's like when I was growing up, the footballers looked real old. Yeah. And now when I look back, they look all like kids. Yeah. So I think I had it in the song. Have you noticed the policemen getting older, younger? Yeah. And the busmen, they're getting younger too. When all your friends are getting older. So you stay static while all things around you are moving in all kinds of directions. Yeah. Policemen getting younger, your friends getting older, you looking in the mirror and you're the same every day, same old face. But that's the way it works.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And of course, down in Banna Strand, there's two monuments. Well, one is in Ballyhaig, and the other one is in up at the original one from 1965 when they celebrated the 50th anniversary.
Yeah.
And on it, there's his name and the name of the other man that came ashore with him. There was 3 of them came ashore, but the third one didn't get his name on the monument because he turned king's evidence after being arrested.
I don't blame them on it.
So they decided not to put his name on the other fellas. The second fellow was Robert Monteith. And his daughter launched the plaque or the monument. And the other one is an actual statue, which is more over towards Ballyhigh, which is a bronze statue of Roger Casement.
Yeah, we actually visited that and we recorded a song at only Banna Strand there for our, I think it was our 40th or 50th, I'm not too sure, but it's a Celtic Symphony. It toured around Ireland, all the historic spots around Ireland, and we did the Banna Strand at that spot there, and it's fantastic.
At the monument, that the bronze statue of him.
Yeah, that's the monument there, and we recorded then at the Banna Strand. But for anybody who wants to get any of the videos that we have out, you can go on to what's the
ad time. Advertisement time. Go on.
Yeah, no, they're all available. Vimeo, yeah, go on to Vimeo there, and you can download it there for just pay a couple of bob, and you can download the whole video, and it's well worthwhile. It's worth €20. It's worth a lot more, but we give it to you for 20. How about that? But it is a marvelous video, and it's part 1 and part 2. So I think there's something like maybe 40 songs or thereabouts.
And there's a lot of cost in doing a video like that.
Oh, huge cost that you never get back.
Yeah.
And
because a lot of piracy and all that goes on now. You know. Same with CDs now, and I think, sort of Spotify and iTunes and all those, they've sort of killed the CD, really, haven't they?
Yeah, well, the CD is really, I think, in the past.
I still like them.
I like them, and I mean, it's like vinyl. Vinyl has come back, and these things would be around. And
but vinyl is so expensive. I looked into getting it, what the cost would be to get an album done on vinyl, and it was horrendous.
Yeah, you have to get the acetate done and get that made, and then that used to press off the other ones. Yeah, I know it's not cheap, but but that's it. Trends will come and go, and at the end of the day, the artists will always follow the trend, whatever it is, and try and get their work out there to as many people as possible.
So keep buying the album, because my dad wants to go to space with Jeff Bezos on his next trip.
I couldn't even afford the mat that they get on before they go onto the thing. But listen, I think, talking about space, I think the only way, that man can develop is they must leave this planet. And I feel that, that we have to get out of here to survive as a species. And to do that, it's going to take a lot of technology and a lot of work and a lot of money. And, places like Ireland, people like Irish people or the Irish government, we don't have the money to do that. But combined with a strong Europe or a strong world, it can happen with the contribution made by the great Irish scientists that we have in that sphere. We're very proud of them, and many of them have, contributed to the space program. And also, I got to tell you that our records were taken to space on one. I can't remember.
On vinyl now, or CD, or MP3. That's very important.
I think it might have been CD, and they might have had some other technology to take it up. But anyhow, that was it. We are taken there. We are also taken to the South Pole.
Yeah.
The South Pole. They have an American site there that. It's a
weather station or something.
I think it's a scientific program.
I've seen it on one of the exploration and discovery or something like that.
Yeah, they have that there. But I know, said every single day, they had their own radio program there. It said every single day the Wolfetones were played.
And of course, you get played up in the North Pole there. Santa Claus looks after you there as well.
South Pole.
Santa's in the North Pole.
Oh, yeah, but the Wolfetones are in the South Pole.
I know, but I'm sure Santa's playing you as well.
Yeah. No. Like, we had a Christmas song out.
For his elves.
Remember Me at Christmas, Santa and all in it. And RTE refused to play it. They said that Santa Claus was in the promos.
I was listening to... I had my Spotify. I was doing the garden yesterday. Was it yesterday? I had my Spotify on random. Just picks of random people, and I was on Irish music. So you start on, and I went on to Patsy Watchorn's album.
Yeah,
and I was listening. Like, he has more Republican songs on it than you guys ever did. And he gets played. No, not saying it, but he gets played on RTE all the time. So. And I'm listening to this song, like you're singing we're the Irish Republican Army, give me the green, white and gold every time. I go, that's more Republican than any of the tunes you've
I guess that
they just don't like it, Dad.
No, it's not only that. I think when we kind of when the Troubles happened, and we were already sort of very well established as a band.
Yeah.
I don't think the Dublin City Ramblers wouldn't have been established at that stage.
Yeah.
They were around but not established.
But they didn't really do Republican stuff. This was Patsy's own album. This wasn't a DCR.
Then it'd be much later on.
Yeah.
It'd be much later on. Yeah. So a lot of people done it as a kind of a bandwagon thing when.
I don't know. I've never heard it like a.
Yeah, that song's been knocking around.
Yeah. It sounded like quite a modern album, so I wouldn't say it was like recorded in the one take when you were doing it in 1965 or 66.
Yeah, well, we try to cover everything about Ireland, and that's the thing. We cover that. We cover emigration, all the great songs about emigration and everything else, including like. The little bit of Gaelica and whatever we thought was a good song to bring out, regardless of what it was about. We needed to explain our history, and that was of great importance, especially when we were getting horrible news across the world about Ireland and terrorism and all that kind of thing. So that had to be addressed, and I think Joe McDonnell addresses that in a very, very good way.
Yeah.
You dare to call me a terrorist. But remember, like when I was over in America, I guess it was in the 80s or late 70s or mid 70s, if you'd done a sort of a response to certain things, when you say word association,
yeah,
and you say black, and what's the opposite of white?
Yeah.
And you go through all the things, man, woman, those kind of things. If you said bomb, IRA came immediately to the people's minds. I tried it in America, because every news media that had a story about Ireland or a bombing, it was committed by the IRA. The IRA have claimed responsibility, or the IRA did not claim responsibility for this. So that's known as guilt by association.
Right, yeah.
So no matter whether you did or didn't, your name is mentioned in relation to it. So that happened many times. I think some of the people that were killed by the UVF and killed by the loyalist groupings, they went. Some of the mothers of people killed and fathers of people killed went to the grave believing that their family victims were killed by the IRA because of the way it was associated, and because of the way it was reported, and because of the way the police handled it and told them. So, there's lots of those things that happened in Ireland. There's a very good book written about it that I read on numerous occasions. It's Ireland, the Propaganda War. And the Propaganda War, no doubt.
Is that Martin Dillon? Was it?
No. The Propaganda War was no doubt won by Britain, run by the English government, because they controlled the whole world. The media of the world came from London, especially from Europe. It went to Australia, went across the world. They had a very expert news media system that made sure that whatever the government wanted to get out was there first. And always remember that the first version of the story is the story that the people believe.
Yeah.
The second story is a counterproductive thing to that, or it's trying to counteract that. And, it's like the fella in front of the judge, he's heard all the excuses. So, in as much that the propaganda war was won by the people who were best at it. Now, later on in life, the provost, provisional IRA and all that got a little more expert at getting news to America and having good people over there that would spread it around the country. But still, the main news media groupings in America followed the English government version of the story. Like Bloody Sunday, it was IRA started it. It was like everything that happened, it was IRA, terrorism, this terrorism, blah, blah.
Ballymurphy the same.
Yeah. So the whole thing, like, we were there in America for most of the years of the Troubles, and my God, it used to, my blood would boil at times, and, when I'd hear the stories they were trying to push across to the American people. And no wonder the American people, when you said bomb, the immediate response to that was IRA.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when I was in America for the summer, when I was working up in the Seaside Heights in New Jersey. Anytime you said you were from Ireland, they were saying, "Oh, you must be glad to get away from all those bombs."
Yeah, you see,
that used to infuriate me, like,
Yeah. Because they were trying to make Ireland into a kind of a terrorist nation, and and associated with other terrible happenings around the world. That the Irish were as bad. They had terrible terrorist groupings and all that kind of thing, and like. Anybody who was in the IRA was banned from America. You couldn't get in. I mean, we were there the day they opened up to the IRA coming into America. We were there when Adams came into the ballroom there in New York, and we were playing at that concert, and we were the main thing. And that concert there, well, probably, I think the place held about 12,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and they were all there paying lots of money to be there. We were main performers there at the show, and it was all given to the people of Belfast and the 6 counties, and what was their struggle for civil rights.
Yeah. And what do you think of this new thing with the English government trying to pass where no one can be held accountable for anything that happened in the north?
Yeah, well, I guess, it can't go on forever, but I think that anybody has a complaint or wants to get justice for their family should have a say in that. Now, you can't go down to 2054 and still have a claim or, going on, or you're looking for justice. I think everybody should get the opportunity to get their voice and let their voice be heard for those that have left. And remember, there's a lot of hangover from the Troubles, not alone, amongst Republican people, which, many Republicans done deals that they could never disclose, and their families and everything else, they could never mention it or talk about it, or they'll never be sung about, or and they'll have to go to their grave and carry their story. With the same with loyalist groupings and everything else like that, and God, knows what terrible things happened around there. But at some stage, the hatchet has to be buried, and I don't know. I don't think the government in England have the right to make that call. It should be made in conjunction with the families and the people who fear and have that injustice still to be addressed. Yeah. So if all the groupings got together, I think that would be the answer.
Yeah, I think they're more doing it. The British government are more doing it so that the soldiers can't be held accountable for anything they did, like in Ballymurphy or...
Yeah, well, that's... Yeah, well, I think the people need to get the truth out there, and they're fighting for that for years. And, the British government always like to see themselves as the goodies and everybody else as the baddies. So, I mean, they're not going to change that. They're going to want, the British Army to be squeaky clean, which they're not.
Yeah. And, of course, they'd want that so that if they ever have to send them in again... because if the soldiers being held accountable, they're not going to want to be deployed into...
and also, they were under the control of the English government. I mean, like whatever the soldiers did, they had it from the top to do it.
And of course, there would be compensation due back to families and stuff like that if it was to come out. Of course. Anyway, so I was going to ask you one last thing about Roger Casement. Of course, we're talking about his monuments, and one thing I forgot: the biggest monument to Roger Casement was, of course, is only across the road from where I live. Yeah, it's Casement Aerodrome.
Yeah.
So it's great that because originally it was, what was the name? Baldonnel, was it? But was it called something else before that?
It was. I can't remember now what it was called.
But anyway, it's named after him. It's
Casement,
great, and it's great to see things like that being named after, like Collins's barracks. And
he's no doubt a courageous, great hero, and he'll always be such to the Irish people, and we cherish his memory. Yeah,
absolutely, and a great song, which I love singing, even though it's quite a hard, difficult song to sing.
It is, but it's a beautiful melody.
I inherited your voice, so you know my struggle. So travelling through the airports, then, how did you find it?
Well, we got tested before we left, and
was it because when I was collecting in the airport, it was a bit surreal. Like there was very few people around. Like Dublin airport's always thronging with people anytime I go, and just to go out there, like, drive into whatever car space you want, and then just go and sit in any seat, but nothing open, and it was very surreal.
It was like when we went to the airport, there was very few people. I'd already checked in online and done everything online, and I just went up to the desk and dropped the baggage. They have a way now, you're not allowed to bring hand baggage on. You have to pay if you want to bring it on.
Right.
It's nothing to leave it at the drop, the bag drop. So we left all the baggage there, which was great for us. And then I went down, and there was a bar open just after the perfume place there, which my wife likes. And she went to there, and I went to the bar, and I had a beautiful pint of Guinness. I then liked it so much I had another one.
Oh, well.
And then we proceeded to the gate, and we got on the plane, no problem. It was like... It wasn't even half full. I mean, it was just basically with people who had no choice but to go over to Spain, which I was in that position. And we got on the plane, and then the hatch wouldn't close and the bloody baggage, the thing. And so they dumped us off the plane and put us on another one. And it didn't hold us up long. So he said we'd make up time as we go across, and we did. When I arrived there, listen, guys out there, this is true. Don't ever book a car with You Do Spain, because they do use Spain.
You do Spain. Gee, where do you find these places, Dad?
I don't know. Jerry Murray gave me that.
You
got to try doing it. So I booked it online anyhow, and cost me €184. And
for a piece of paper.
Basically a piece of paper. And with all the confusion of the thing and everything else, you know the way they have the drop-down box for time arrival?
Yep.
So the drop-down box was at 10 o'clock. It was stood at 10 because I didn't change it.
Yeah.
So it was 10 arrival, 10 leaving. So I had already done and paid the money, and I said, God, I'm not making a bloody mistake there. I didn't do the drop box for the time.
Yeah.
So I sent him an email saying I won't be arriving there till blah, 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 and could they let the car company know that that's the fact.
Yeah.
So when I got to it, when I got to Spain, they said, no car. I said, why no car? He said, because you were supposed to arrive here at 10 o'clock. And you don't arrive, we give you 2 hours. And if you don't arrive by the 2 hours, I said, but just go over time. And I said, like, flights are changed all the time. No car. So I said, fuck this, Jesus, what am I going to do? So, and I said, what would it cost me to hire a car now for the period? And he said, well, blah, 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 blah. She does all the computer, ding dong, ding dong. It'll be 1,040. I said, you joke me.
You don't want to buy it. I just want to rent it.
So I went around to the other car companies down the airport, and I went up, and they were all dear. So I went back to one, and I said, look, this is the story. What's your best price? Otherwise, I'm getting a cab. I'm going down to the hotel, and I'll hire one locally.
Yeah.
And she said, okay. She said, I'll do it for 60.
60?
Or 600.
I was going to say that.
600.
You wish.
Do it for 600. So I felt I was tired. I was, upset about the whole thing. And I said, fuck it, I'll just go ahead with it. So I put over my debit card anyhow, and she processed it and gave me a little Corsa, Opel Corsa or whatever. And the car was grand, and just, I felt my money's down the lane. I'm going to pursue it and see can I get some money back, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're I don't know. Car companies, I think, are the worst in the world for doing people.
You do Spain, or definitely.
You do. We'll do you in Spain. They certainly will. Don't touch them, lads and lassies.
At least with Hertz or all those cars, you have some sort of comeback because they have offices here. Like you can fight your case.
Yeah, and I wouldn't mind. I would have gone to my usual spot, except Jerry said, "Oh, great price." I said, "What's the price? Do you Spain or we'll do you in Spain?"
Done you in Spain.
I was done. Anyhow.
You were done before you got to Spain.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you were over there, of course, we missed the chatting about the Euro finals, and of course, England getting beaten penalties. Where did you watch the game?
I watched the game it was kind of like a sports club in Lockhamar there. It's
like a tennis sports club.
It's a tennis club, yeah, tennis club. And they had a huge television. My God, Jesus, it was huge thing altogether. And it was kind of outdoors, indoors, if you know what I mean.
Right,
it was
yeah.
like there was a bar which had a canopy on it, and then all the seating was kind of outdoor with a cover that could be put on.
Yeah.
Like a canvas cover over.
Was there many English there? I was all Spanish.
There wasn't one English.
Wasn't it?
In fact, the only other people, there was two Italians.
Right.
Yeah, which I was cheering with.
Yeah.
And there was, who else was it? There was like, Spanish. I don't know where there were probably a couple of Spanish
yeah.
Not many people had an interest in it now at
really?
all.
Wow.
Yeah, I think there was only like 8 people in a huge area, with a television about 100 or 200 inches long and wide, whatever, huge television.
I watched it down, and we had the bandwagon out that day. We were doing a 70th birthday party, and so it was late getting finished, and I literally went home and picked up Katrina and went up to. We were staying up in Carlingford.
Oh yeah.
And so we literally went to the place we were staying, threw our bags in, and legged it down to the local pub, and the place was absolutely mobbed. So I walked in, I seen 20 minutes gone, England 1-0 up. I was going, oh Jesus, because
you'll never hear the end of this.
Well, I had money on the Italians from the start, so I was thinking I should have cashed out. And then I said to him, is there any room out in the back beer garden? He says, no, we're wedged, Karen, wedged. So the front was wedged as well, where the telly was at the front. So he says, just stand there in the corner. He says, watch it on the big screen. He says, I put that on for myself. And so we stood there for the whole 2.5 hours. But it was great. And the atmosphere in the place was just unbelievable. I've never seen so many drunken people in all my life at the end of the thing. So of course, when the game...
All cheering for England?
Italy, of course. I don't think I didn't hear one cheer now when England's penalties went in. And one thing I always said, and it's very true if you look at a penalty shootout, the first person to miss normally wins the penalty shootout. I guarantee 75% of the time. I said it to Ray Donnelly, with the guy who used to play the drums in the band. I said it to him one time. I said, if you watch it now, I think Liverpool were playing. He's a Liverpool fan, and I said Liverpool missed the first penalty. I said they'll win it now because I think the other opposition get a sense of, oh, we can do this now because they've missed, and then once they're in that frame of mind, and then once they miss, it's very hard to change your frame of mind where you're sort of relaxed, and then the nerves start coming in. So I've done it, and I've watched it now, but 75% in around there of the penalty shootouts.
I never knew that. No, really.
End up the first person to miss. Can go 75% of the time goes on.
You hear that, folks? You can bet.
Well, that's what I did.
There you go.
I took a lot of money off Banking 365, off Bet 365. I put 60 quid in for the US Masters. Because if you put 60 quid in, they gave you 60 quid on top of that. So it meant I had 120 to bet. So I won my bet in the US Masters. So since then, I haven't put another penny in. I took me €60 back out and another 280.
You're doing better than I did.
I won the US Masters. I had the winner of the US Open. I had the winner of the Euros. And I did a bet on it was a handicap bet on the GA at the weekend, and I won €112 off a €2 bet.
I don't know. Can you do my betting?
Just being quite lucky. So
I think you have a good grip on both football and things like that, of what's going to happen. And
I don't like betting a lot of money. That's one thing I don't do.
Right.
I'll only do €5 or €10. I would never, and I try not to make a habit of it. Just on the big sporting occasions, or if I'm going to something because I was at the GAA at the weekend. I went to the hurling and I went to the football on Saturday. Was the hurling and Sunday was the football.
Yeah.
So Dublin were playing Kilkenny in the Leinster final.
Yeah, I saw you. I think we hit you on the FaceTime.
Oh yeah, we were on the boat. The MV Killarney.
Yeah.
They used to go out to the Aran Islands, did it?
It used to, yeah.
So that's parked up across from my job, of course, and I've never gone into it, and it's right outside my job. So we booked onto it and went down, and we sat on it and of course, beautiful weather, and we had a heap of pints before we went up, got a taxi up to Crow Park. But it was lovely there. Everybody, you had all the kayaks out, and you had you had people out sailing. There was sailboats going around, and then you had, every now and then there was a speedboat went past. So of course, when the speedboat went past, we were sort of on a pontoon that's beside the boat, so you almost felt like you're going up and down, feeling a bit seasick. But it was lovely, to get back to Crow Park. Now there wasn't many; there was 18,000, I think, allowed in for both games, which in Crow Park is nothing. It's less than 20%. But it was great to hear the cheer back. And what I didn't realise, I think the four of us that went in, I think we all had one too many, was that Dublin were missing 4 players from their starting lineup because they had been close contacts with COVID. So against Kilkenny, you can't afford to lose, 4 players. And then they had an injury in the first couple of minutes, and then at half time they had to take off another one. So that was 6 players out of 15 from the first choice, So they were unlucky. They lost, I think, by 10 points in the end. But the Dublin GAA on the Sunday were absolutely brilliant in the first half, and then in the second half they just almost took their foot off the gas, and I think they only scored 5 points in the second half or something like that. So it'll be interesting to see now with Kerry and Mayo and all these teams how they come up to it, because they've lost a lot of players as well, to retirement and stuff like that.
The COVID thing has really wrecked the whole thing, really, because
But any team can lose. You only have to be a close contact now, and you're gone. You're out of the panel. So they have to be really careful who they're palling around with. Especially coming in.
And that's difficult. Your life has been on hold for over a year and a half. And it's tough, especially on the younger people. I have to say, it's really, really tough. You know.
Yeah, and now they're being struck down with it. Like, you know, they're getting it quite bad. Like, you know.
Yeah.
The guy that was meant to do the video for the bandwagon, he got COVID and he was quite bad with it. And then I rang him to see if he got over it, and he's after breaking his ankle. He's having a rough time. So, where are we? We're 45 minutes in. Jesus, that goes quick when you're having fun, doesn't it? So, of course, you have Fail on the Pubble coming up.
Yeah, we have the Fail coming up, and that sold out in an hour.
I've seen that,
Yeah, 1 hour it was gone. And of course, like, they're not letting the full complement in. I think there's 5,000 or something like that allowed in. They were talking about doing a second one, but, you know, I don't think we want to do that, you know, just yet. But we have another one then in it's outdoor again in Derry.
Yeah.
And
the Hoolie on the Hill.
Yeah, the Hoolie on the Hill. And then where are we there? That's all at the moment I know about. But
the Hoolie on the Hill sounds like fun. Once you get the weather, like, you know, you can't beat outdoor festivals.
Fucking great! Yeah, jeez, like, if the weather's good, you know.
Like last year, Fail on the Pubble, it was a beautiful day.
Yeah,
it really was.
Well, hopefully we have a great day. The people deserve a good outdoor concert now and again to make up for all that suffering we had over the past months.
And do you know, are they doing it in pods, or are they, what way they're doing it?
That I don't know.
Be interesting to find out, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I wonder what way they're doing it.
I don't know what way they're doing it. Like, I know some of the people that it was done in pods of 6, wasn't it, or whatever. Like, I don't think that's possible in Falls Park there, but they must have some way of controlling
that.
It
Would be, like, if it holds 12,000 and they're less than half capacity, they could just do corrals and, you know, there's 6 people go in there.
Well, it doesn't have to be corrals, it could be barriers.
Yeah,
you know?
Well, that's what I mean. That's what they did in the one in
you have a row of barriers and a certain
Hospital.
amount of people into that row and a certain amount of people in the next row, blah, blah, blah.
That's the way it was in Croke Park. Like, you could buy tickets for 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 people, like, you know.
In a pod. Like,
but you couldn't buy a single person ticket.
That's good, yeah.
Well, I think that's bad that you can't buy a single person ticket. So
but who you going to put them with?
But you put them by themselves in an area, like, you know, where there's 2 meters, like, you know.
Too much work for them.
Yeah, well, it's just easier to sell it to 3 people. But in fairness, like, they didn't put the price up a whole lot. Like, I think it was €30 for the no, it's 35 for the hurling and 30 for the football.
Yeah.
So that's generally what you'd pay, you know.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see now with Ireland now. Ireland they've 2 games at home in October, I think. On 1 in September and 2 in October, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be interesting to see what because Bows are playing. They sold out their 8,000 tickets.
Bows,
yeah. They're playing in the Europa Conference, and they're playing.
Did they win that match tonight? You know.
Well, they're not playing tonight, I don't think. No.
Yeah, they are. They were up 1-0.
Oh, are they? Oh, well, then it's the first leg, is it, of the Doodle Lounge? Yeah. Well, that's what it is. Yeah, I don't support Bows, Dad. They took.
I support any Irish team.
I know I do, yeah. But when they're playing in Europe, but they took the English. What were the ones that went down North Earl Street? You know, the ones in the East Horizon, where they shot a load of innocent people in North Earl Street all along there.
Yeah.
They took them troops into the Bows Pavilion and gave them tea and sandwiches and stuff.
Tea and arsenic.
They looked after them.
Yeah, well, that's, you know, that was then. This is now.
I know, but I love giving that to the Bows supporters.
Yeah.
And I have a few friends that are Bows supporters, so it's great.
Yeah. Wow.
That's the rivalry, Dad. Without the rivalry, there's no crack in football.
Yeah, well, we've been Pats all our.
Yeah, well,
you know.
They call us the junkies.
The what?
The junkies.
No, not back in the day.
No, but now.
That's because Bowles is chemist there.
No, it's not. It's just because of.
That's where they used to go there for their methadone and all that.
I don't think that's anything to do with it. I think it's just the area in general that tried to give it a bad name. And then, of course, we call Shamrock Rovers the homeless because they don't own that ground down in Tala.
Well, it's a great ground.
That is a great ground, yeah. But still, it would be nice if Pats had their own ground. Like, they've tried, but Dublin City Council have refused them in St Michael's Estate there. But I've been enjoying. I've been back the last 3-4 games now. I'm not going to the game tomorrow. It's a cup game against Bray, but I've been at the 3 league games, and they've been playing absolutely great football. And I really enjoyed it, and they haven't lost yet since the fans have been back. So long may it continue. But they've a very thin squad. But sure, look at great compared to last season. It's a real lift. So anyway, good to be back, and good to see you looking all suntanned, and you're still in
red
and still enjoying the pint of lager while we're chatting. Yeah. So we'll play out with what do you want to play out with? I'll give you a choice.
Yeah, okay. Chasing After Moonbeams, as we were talking about space, it's my idea of space.
Right, okay. And I can introduce you to a few of the Tom Cruise's mates if you want, and see if you can get a lift on the old Cocoon spaceship that he's looking forward to getting.
Yeah, well, give him a shout there, I'll go.
Yeah. You might have to write them a song.
No problem.
All right. Well, on that note, we shall sign off. When will I put this out? Will I wait till Monday, or will I just put it out tonight? Will I wait till Monday to put this out, or will we do another one Monday?
We do another one Monday, yeah.
Okay, so I'll stick this out tomorrow as a bonus.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I have a question to ask you. Shite.
Yeah.
Oh, do you know what? I'll do it Monday.
Okay.
One of the chaps asked me to ask you a couple of questions. All right. We'll talk to you soon. This is Chasing After Moonbeams in the Sun with Tom Cruise. Take care, people. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the rest of the weather, because the weekend's to get all showery and colder.
Okay, take care.
Bye-bye.
Enjoy it when you have it.
All the laughter of the children, chasing after moonbeams in the sun. Superman is crying in the rain clouds, chasing after moonbeams in the sun. Running through the trees, catching falling leaves, chasing with the hare and with the hound. Running with the devil, chasing with the priestess, everyone is flying to the sun. The trash cans overflowing with tomorrow morning's refuse, chasing after moonbeams in the sun. Once where there was plenty, the gaping holes are empty, we're chasing after moonbeams in the sun. Running through the trees, catching falling leaves, chasing with the hare and with the hound. Running with the devil, chasing with the priestess, everyone is flying to the sun. Dancing off into the sky in an everlasting chain of loneliness. Across the rainbow we will fly, chasing after love and happiness. The scientist speaks with wisdom, he talks of global warming, he's chasing after moonbeams in the sun. The spaceship Earth is spinning to its end and the beginning, we're chasing after moonbeams in the sun. Running through the trees, catching falling leaves, chasing with the hare and with the hound. Running with the devil, chasing with the priestess, everyone is flying to the sun. Dancing off into the sky in an everlasting chain of loneliness. Across the rainbow we